Terrax, deceased. Real name, Tyros. Occupation, former dictator, former herald of Galactus. Identity, unknown to the general public of Earth. Legal status, citizen of Lanlac. Place of birth, city of Lanlac, planet Burge. Place of death, Queens, New York. Former aliases, Terrax the Tamer. First appearance, Fantastic Four number 211. Final appearance, Fantastic Four number 260. History. Tyros was originally the dictator of the small city-state Lanlac on the world of Burge, sometimes translated as Terran, a moon of the gas giant Marmon in a solar system 80,000 light-years from Earth. Tyros ruled through the use of force, his limited power over Earth and rock. This power, which apparently was a mutation unique to Tyros, enabled him to animate constructs of stone which would patrol his kingdom, maintaining his firm control. Tyros loved power and conquest, and led a life of debauchery and violence. Somehow, he came to the attention of Galactus, the world devourer. See, Galactus. Galactus had been seeking a new herald to guide him to fertile planets, which he needed for sustenance. The space being surmised that the common fault in most of his former heralds was that their moral values prevented them from fulfilling their duties. For a new herald, Galactus sought an individual who would have no compunction in finding worlds for Galactus to render lifeless. When the Fantastic Four came to Galactus to ask him for aid in their battle against the Sphinx, see, Sphinx, Galactus agreed, but only with the condition that the Fantastic Four would journey to Burge and subdue Tyros for him. The Fantastic Four reluctantly did this, and in doing so, they freed the city of Lanlac from Tyros's rule. Brought before Galactus, Tyros was exposed to Galactus's cosmic power and was transformed into Terrax the Tamer. His minor control over stone was augmented to an uncalculable degree. Now he could affect all matter of rock and stone on nearly a planetary scale. His body was changed so that it would withstand the vacuum of space. Finally, Galactus gave Terrax a weapon called the Cosmic Axe, capable of generating waves of cosmic force. As Galactus's new herald, Terrax found more worlds for his master than any of the previous heralds. Terrax likened the discovery of new planets to the feeling of conquest. On several occasions, Terrax annihilated large segments of the population himself using his cosmic powers. As Galactus had hoped, Terrax's lack of morality made him a successful herald. But whereas Galactus's other heralds had a sense of loyalty to their master, Terrax had none. Indeed, he served Galactus only out of fear for his master's power, but even conquered that fear on several occasions to defy Galactus's wishes. Shortly after being transformed into Galactus's herald, Terrax fled from his master and overthrew the ruling body of a small unnamed planet. He enslaved the entire population and set himself up as the planet's deity. Huge segments of that world's people died erecting temples and cities to glorify Terrax. Terrax planned to use the survivors of his reign as the first wave of a planned universe-conquering army. But before Terrax could proceed any further, Galactus summoned his herald. Fearful of his master's wrath, Terrax hid in a black hole. Utilizing the powers of the Earth mutant Dazzler, Galactus freed Terrax and made him obedient to his will again. But Terrax's rebellious nature could not be totally stifled, and after a while, Terrax again fled his master. This time, he went to Earth. Utilizing his power, Terrax levitated the entire island of Manhattan into Earth orbit and used the lives of its millions of inhabitants to bargain with the Fantastic Four. To spare Manhattan, Terrax demanded that they destroy Galactus by attacking his ship. Galactus had by now realized that his herald had become a liability to him. Returning Manhattan to Earth, Galactus stripped Terrax of his cosmic power, and the transformed alien was sent hurtling from the top of the World Trade Center down to the street below. Although seriously injured, Terrax's alien physique enabled him to survive the fall. Unknown to both the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, who were present at the site, Terrax's broken form was taken to a nearby hospital by an unidentified passerby. He remained there for several months in a semi-comatose state. Victor Von Doom, looking for a pawn to use in a plot against the Fantastic Four, discovered the fact of Terrax's survival.
"See, Dr. Doom."
Terrax was kidnapped from the hospital and brought back to Latveria by a squad of robots dispatched by Doom. There, after 6 weeks of Doom's advanced treatments, Terrax recovered. But having been stripped of cosmic power, Terrax had no memories of having been the Herald of Galactus, and thus called himself Tyros once more. Doom had recently perfected a device that was capable of endowing an individual with limited cosmic power. Tyros readily agreed to be exposed to the device's energies, as he wished revenge against the Fantastic Four. Garbed in a special suit that would channel and regulate the cosmic energies in his body, Tyros set off for New York. Unknown to him, the power Doom gave him would consume Tyros's body within a matter of hours. Thus, Doom would not be faced with an adversary whose power was vaster than his own once Tyros had served his purpose. Tyros defeated the Fantastic Four, and, detesting the fact he was in the service of any master, he turned on Doom and immobilized the Latverian monarch in his armor. At Tyros's moment of seeming triumph, the Silver Surfer, the first of Galactus's heralds, arrived to save the lives of his friends, the Fantastic Four. Tyros believed that his power level was equal to that of the Surfer, but Tyros was no match for someone who had received cosmic power from Galactus himself. Because of this, Tyros was forced to use his powers to the limit in order to combat the Surfer. This only served to hasten his inevitable deterioration. As the two former heralds of Galactus engaged in battle, Tyros was totally consumed by the power cosmic. Height, 6 feet 6 inches. Weight, 2,750 pounds. Eyes, gray. Hair, none. Powers. Terrax possessed vast cosmic power granted him by Galactus. Terrax's body was coated with a flexible rock-like shell that was impervious to extremes of heat and cold from 50 degrees above absolute zero to the interior of a small sun, pressure up to 100 Earth atmospheres, and concussive force up to a fall at terminal velocity from the limit of Earth's exosphere. His body had been sustained by cosmic energy, making it unnecessary for him to eat or breathe. Terrax's strength had been augmented by Galactus to enable him to lift, 75 tons without supplementing it in any way by additional cosmic energy. Terrax's mutant ability to psionically manipulate the molecules of rock and earth was augmented by Galactus's transformation at least 100-fold. Terrax could move planetary masses up to 100 miles in diameter. He could move asteroids of 10 miles in diameter at speeds of up to thousands of miles per hour. He could control the direction of a swarm of meteors within 100 miles of his person. With concentration, he could affect a small piece of matter 1,000 miles away from him. The farther the distance, however, the less mass he was able to affect. Standing on a planetary surface, he could affect tectonic plates sufficiently to cause earthquakes and create chasms in the surface thousands of feet deep or wide. Deploying his powers to the maximum extent, he could separate a landmass the size of Manhattan Island and levitate it miles off the Earth's surface. On worlds with lesser gravities, he could lift even greater masses. Terrax, like all of Galactus's heralds, was able to enter warp space and negotiate it in order to cover great spatial distances. Traversing through the normal universe, he was able to attain 0.75 of the speed of light. Paraphernalia. Terrax wielded a cosmic axe which had several powers of its own. It was capable of emanating waves of destructive force sufficiently powerful to rend a tear in Galactus's own ship. It could also project highly impervious force shields. Since it operated independently of rock and earth, the axe augmented the scope of Terrax's power.